Look up the word crazy in the dictionary, and you might just find an asterisk beside the definition that says, listen to the Subiquitous podcast featuring Sue Duffield, and you'll find out what crazy means. Sue's travelogue journey of unfiltered stories, impossible miracles, and faith-filled fun will be revisited right here. So buckle up and let's get going with this humorous travelogue of an unfiltered saint, Subiquitous.
You know, Jeffrey, Zig Ziglar said, if you really want to get something done and get it done fast, pretend it's the day before your vacation.
We're not pretending.
We don't have to pretend, and here's the thing.
Actually, this is not vacation this week.
True.
However.
But we have a few sidebar commitments before we have vacation.
You think?
And they're wonderful commitments. First of all, we're going to attend our 5th birthday of our grandson Jameson on Saturday.
Right.
And then Sunday we sing in Belmar, New Jersey at Belmar Baptist.
That's right.
Which I can't remember. They changed the name of their church. That's the old name.
That's not good.
But anyway, if you're listening to this podcast, June 2nd, in the afternoon at 4 o'clock, we're going to be at Belmar Baptist.
That's right.
And the pastor's name is Bill Cook, and you can look that up on our website. But we've been running around this house like crazy people. I mean, and then we have the Young at Heart Conference, which starts Monday through Friday.
Of next week
at America's Keswick.
June 3rd?
3rd
4th?
through the 7th, correct.
Mm-hmm.
And so, all that to say, we have really... We actually are packing two separate suitcases. One for London, England, and one for America's Keswick.
Which London comes June 7th.
That's right. Oops, and I just hit the microphone.
You did.
But listen, I've had to think this out. I made notes upon notes. I put all kinds of reminders on my calendar. I have alerts that tell me to remember things. Mm-hmm. And here's what's really bothering me at 68. I still feel like I forget something. Even after writing things down.
The list thing is supposed to take care of that.
or forget the list and just go with a wing and a prayer.
No,
as my father used to say.
We can't do that.
No,
because
not anymore.
We've had to compensate for your last non-list.
That's right.
Activation, which is when you were at the retreat in Pennsylvania.
Oh, and I left that.
What's the name of the place?
It's called it's Twin Pines.
Twin Pines. Yeah, I knew it had pines in it.
In the Poconos, and yes. I left a very strategic, important cord that I use from my iPhone into an amplifier.
And we use it.
And and it has a little volume control on it.
Yeah.
And
Here comes the qualification.
It's called what is it called again?
It's a line transformer. It's made by Rapco. R-A-P-C-O.
Rapco something.
And here's the other. We have another one that we've owned for like 4, 5, or 6 years that the knob on it, the volume control was starting to go bad. It's got dirt and all in it. And if you play it through it, sometimes the track will just be there and sometimes it won't. Well, it just depends. So we bought a new one, which is what you took to Twin Pines.
Oh, that was the new one
You had the new one.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So now we had to order another one?
So now this week we had to buy another one.
Okay.
So we now have 3.
This is so bad.
And the original I took apart earlier today and used my CRC QD contact cleaner on it.
I am so proud of you.
And sprayed the potentiometer, which is what they call it.
Is that what they call that?
That's
I have learned something new, a potentiometer.
Which is why they call them pots. This is...
Oh, that's right.
This is studio lingo for you.
Oh, my word. You have taught me so much in the last 1 minute.
A brief window into the studio world. They're called pots. And this one had a dirty one. And if we don't use it for a few months, it acts up. And last weekend, it was really acting up.
Yeah, it was terrible.
But it's all clean now.
You like my sound effects there?
Yeah.
I can do sound effects. I can really do sound effects.
Yes, I know. Some of them you can do.
I remember.
Some with your mouth, others other places. Yeah.
I used to have my general manager at WNRK, when we couldn't find a sounder for something, he goes, "Can you make up something?"
Imagine that.
Yeah, I think I had to do several things like that.
So now we own 3 Rapco line transformers.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
All right, so on to bigger things. But we really are looking forward to America's Keswick, and it's called, I call it VBS for old people. It really is, and it works.
The official title is Young at
Heart. That's right.
For the seniors.
That's right. So we look forward to that. We sing all the old songs, which is lovely.
Or seasoned saints.
Oh, seasoned saints.
As we also refer to them.
But they also are traveling and packing bags today. And what have we learned over the years by traveling that especially when it's air travel for us, we really have to condense way down.
Oh, yeah.
But if we're driving in the car, I remember we just throw stuff in the car. We don't care. And sometimes we don't use all the stuff that we carry when we go in the car. However, when we fly, everything has its place.
Or should.
And every outfit can be instituted in another format. Like if I have a tan...
Constituted, but it's okay.
I have a tan sweater. I can wear it with my black pants, or I can wear it with my blue jeans.
Nice to know.
Yeah, and then I have like a black top that I can wear with my tan pants.
We've probably mentioned this before, but for many years, we had a system because we had a van.
I know, and we had...
That we traveled in.
I know.
And that van held our sound system.
Everything. I never thought about a thing.
Had product.
Kept it in there.
And we even had places in there that we could hang up our dress clothing.
Right. Get them cleaned and then hang them right back up in the van. Never think about it.
And all we had to do was come out of the house with maybe a pair of undies or two.
Maybe.
And clean socks, maybe. And our toothbrush, so to speak, and we could jump in the van and go at a moment. We didn't have to think.
No.
And the sad thing about that is that occurred at a time when we could think.
See, no, this isn't fair.
No.
It's just life is not fair.
We were in our 20s and we had mental processing abilities that I'm not sure we still possess.
I know.
Now we'll drive in a car.
Right.
Then there's one of 2 cars depending on how far we're going.
Or a rental car, then you leave your keys in it or your key fob.
The rental car comes after we fly.
I know.
But then we fly, so we have to make sure we're not bringing or we are bringing, and then we drive. And And this
is why, I have had, listen, I could name first name basis on a few of these women that I love dearly.
Well, don't do
when
that.
I'm on the road by myself, they have volunteered. Sue, I will go with you for nothing, just to help you remember things. Although, I know what you're thinking. There were times, though, I end up taking care of them instead of them taking care of me.
Yeah, it's more, And I've always had a mental system, such as it was, where I would pack up our sound system and certain things went in certain cases, equipment-wise.
They were assigned.
And they had an assigned seating arrangement in the back of the van.
That's right.
And that's how I knew we had everything. I could stand at the back of the van and eyeball it.
That's right.
Did not have to go back into the room we were set up in, church or whatever, and look around, because if I stood there at the back of the van and looked at everything in its assigned seating place, I could tell if I had everything.
That's right.
And it was without fit until you get Louie and Sam
that want to be helpful, and they're very helpful.
I want to help you.
Yes, they are.
And sometimes Louie and Sam wouldn't even ask. They just go up and take it upon themselves
and start wrapping cords.
And wrapping cords
in the wrong way.
And they wrap them in the wrong way.
And they put them in the wrong place.
And they put the microphones in the wrong. And then I'm toast.
I know. And then they mean so well.
Oh, well-meaning.
But
yes.
I've got to this point, even when I'm with you, without you or with you, I'll say, listen, you are helping us greatly. Wait till Jeff packs everything up and then help us carry it out
my line,
to the car.
Because from the stage to the back of the car, the van, or whatever it may be, there you can play mule. And that's very helpful. And then I'll put it in because I know it's assigned seating place.
Yes.
I'll place it inside. And once again, then I know it's done.
Right.
And doesn't always work that way.
So, believe it or not, I had a little devotion here that kind of goes along with all that we've talked about. Can you imagine that?
No.
You know, you know me. I'm the Jesus juke. My kids make fun of me. They say, "Mom, you always make a spiritual premise out of something. You can't help it when you're raised like this. You can't help it."
Or you have the life experiences. That
The
we've
life
had.
experiences,
Yeah.
and that's the truth. Well, you know,
So I imagine it's coming up.
yeah, and well, you're going to be a part of this because you're going to like this. I think you're going to like it.
Oh boy.
But did you know that there was a professional traveler in the New Testament?
Well, I mean, probably not the mode of transportations that we're familiar with. But
right.
Yeah, his
Well,
name was Paul. I'm
That's
guessing.
exactly right.
Look
And
at me.
See, I am so proud of you. And you know what he said? He would say often, and even while he would go from place to place, I think, you know, after reading all of the accounts, especially in the book of Acts, chapter 16, whether you're traveling as a missionary or in the midst of your own personal profession, right? Mm-hmm. God would have you travel as Paul traveled. Now, I don't think we...
By foot?
No,
There's a few places I wouldn't get to.
I don't mean tangibly like that, but I mean with the mindset.
Oh.
With this mindset.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
There's 4 principles that I got from Paul that I think will be helpful for us as we age and as we continue to travel. Okay.
That's a good source.
It is.
Hopefully it will help us.
And hopefully we won't go too long and we'll miss our Uber driver today.
I'm watching the clock.
Oh,
We
okay,
still
all
have
right.
a couple of hours before he
All right.
arrives.
So there's 4 enduring principles
All right.
that will help us maximize our effectiveness for Jesus wherever we go.
Okay.
All right. First of all, number 1, when you travel, don't go alone. I think that's good. I really, especially in this climate that we live in right now, they do often say, even AAA has said, they're highly discouraging international travelers, especially women, to go by themselves.
Which is why last weekend, when we were going to fly home, but we weren't going to fly home,
Oh, don't even get me started on
and
that
we ended
one.
up driving home
Because we listened to the weather.
because we listened to the Weather
Or
Channel.
you listened to the weather.
Well, so did you.
Well,
You had your airline app
I
on
know,
your
but
phone.
but it said there might be delays, and I kept watching it, and then we just decide to drive home in our
brand new to us.
almost pre-owned 2019 Honda Accord that's red
No,
now.
it's a Fit.
I'm sorry, a Fit. What am
Yeah.
I saying? Accord?
Accord,
We're
yeah.
all in one Accord, but I meant to say a Fit.
Yes.
Because
Or
Sue's
have a
having
Fit.
another Fit.
Yeah, have a
and
Fit.
that's true too. So we decided to drive home, and then we find out the plane was not nearly as delayed as we thought. and then
Because
I
the
was
Weather
irritated.
Channel hypes it so that
Oh,
you'll
of course they do.
Really? They do that? I can't. And anyway, we bought into it, so we drove home. But the point of bringing all that up was, to your point,
Yes.
that you originally said, "Oh no, I'm going to let you fly." Well, that was actually 2 weeks from now. Come back.
Yeah,
from
I
London.
would let
were
you
gonna
fly
me
home, and I'll drive home.
And I said, "No,
No, but listen, this is not what I'm hearing on AAA. They're saying international travel, women traveling
you
by
didn't
themselves.
say that.
Well, I'm just saying international travel. Driving in your car by yourself is not a big deal here. I mean, you still got to be wise.
I'm not a fan of that."
All right, but listen.
Yes, I'm listening.
It says, number 1, don't go by yourself if you're doing international travel.
Right.
Stay close to at least one other person, ideally your mate. That would work.
Well, yeah.
If not your mate, then a family member, and if not a family member, a close companion. But it says truly to stay close, and then call to mind those with whom Paul traveled. Think about it for a minute. If at all possible, avoid traveling alone, and if you're lonely, a companion is there to lift your spirits, and if you get into trouble, a companion is there to help you get through, because in Scripture it says 2 are better than 1, and 3 are even better than 2.
A cord of 3
That's right.
won't be broken.
Well, no, it's true.
Easily broken.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
The tricord, so
The
to speak.
tricord, yeah. And then number 2, when you travel, don't lose touch with home.
There you go.
That's not a bad thing, and we can easily do that now with our smartphones.
We stay in touch. Yeah.
Think about that, though. Not even but just 15 years ago, when you'd go international, no one had a mini computer in their hand.
Well, 15 years ago, no one had one here. Forget international.
But just in that time frame, how we're able to
And there's another use
Stay
for
close
our phone.
to each other.
There's another use for our phone. Used to make phone calls with a cell phone.
Oh, yeah, well.
Now,
It's a camera.
I use the camera option
Right.
to take a picture of things I can't read and blow it up,
Right.
which has nothing to do with your devotional, but
Well, it's
nonetheless.
okay. Well, and in some ways, it's one of the ways. If Paul had an iPhone, think of this for a minute. He had good ways of staying close to home. His heart was always close to home. He always stayed in touch, and when he returned, he gave his reports. Right? He wrote letters.
Right.
And when he was with his men, he willingly gave an account of his ministry. And when he wrote the letters, he was often very vulnerable. I like that, and that's
Right.
true.
Right. Well, he had accountability.
Yes. Okay. So then number 3, when you travel, don't believe everything you see and hear.
Well,
Well,
that's a good thing.
I mean,
for any
I know
time.
it's kind of basic, but we get easily swayed even by the internet.
Weather Channel.
Or we get mesmerized by, what we're seeing sometimes that we're not really fully present. I have learned a long time ago that someone has said an authority is anyone who's 100 miles away from home. Because I'm fairly well known when I travel, people show up thinking they're going to be impressed. And if if they were around me more, they'd know better. I'm not that popular. But every once in a while, if I do walk into a Walmart or a CVS, or I do walk into even a Wawa in New Jersey, somebody recognizes me for something. But here's the thing. When I travel, you meet folks who sometimes tend to just kind of like want to be your fan rather than your friend. And you got to be real careful about that too as well. Mm-hmm. Just realize that not everybody can be your close friend.
No.
And Paul understood that too. That's why he had those that were closest to him.
Right. His
that
inner
would-
circle.
Right. That would speak into his life.
Right.
And then again, you don't ever want to be derailed by the naysayers either. And you don't want to get, messed up with people. I mean, years and years and years ago, Frances Bradway, which was my adopted aunt, said I should never go on the road and hang around with those Southern gospel musicians. And maybe she was right in some regard.
Your Aunt Frances didn't want you hang around me.
No, that's
matter.
true. But if I had listened to her, I would have never had a 51-year ministry. Truthfully,
No.
And she meant well, and she was worried about my safety and all of that.
Worry about you taking that pot.
Right. But always keep your eyes on the goal and focus on the Lord. And even if you're on vacation and even if you're away from it all for a little bit, always find some time spiritually for yourself and for your spouse or for the person you're with. I think that's really important too. I look forward to that. I hope I have a wonderful spiritual experience in London, Jeff. I really do, because that's what makes it so amazing. I know we're taking a once, probably in a lifetime trip together. You and I have been out of the country separately. We've never been together on any kind of an international trip.
I'm looking forward to that because it is London and why we're going there. But it's the both of us together because this is my 3rd trip to London.
Right.
The first time was just going through, but this is my first trip, 3rd time there. And the last time when I was walking around seeing Buckingham Palace and so forth and so on, it's just me. All I could do was take pictures and send them home and say, this is what I saw today. But now this trip, we'll be able to share it at the same time, both of us standing there.
And that's what I think is so amazing about the gospel is that what good is it if you learn and study and follow Jesus and don't share it with the people that you love? It's the same thing with vacations. We've seen that over and over again. You go away and you see some beautiful things. I saw the extreme glories of those twin towers in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. They're the tallest twin buildings in the world. And I remember looking with my own eyes and thinking, I wish that you were here. I wish that you could see this, because pictures will never give this justice.
No.
Right?
No. Same thing with me in the Holy Land.
Right.
In Israel a few years ago.
It's the same thing with the gospel. What value we have when we experience something so precious and so wonderful, but yet don't share it with each other. So another thing, number 4, and this is the last one. When you travel, Jeffrey, don't become aloof.
Oh,
And here's what I mean by that. It's easy in the busyness of travel to become almost like a wax figure, untouchable. Picking up the circuit lingo or the cliches of the road and losing touch with reality. Don't get me started. That's another episode. This facade, this on-the-road facade that a lot of even ministry people have, be honest with you. It's their life, but they become another person when they're on the road. Here's what I'm saying. Stay real, stay available. And you know what? People genuinely need a real, authentic you. Not a perfect you, but an authentic you. So did you learn anything by those 4 principles today?
Multiple things. I'm impressed with the amount of knowledge I've been able to absorb today.
And so by that, you will maximize your impact for Christ and travel well. And that's the most important part. And hopefully we'll be home safely by June 15th, that we can update you on all the little things that we went and did and have fun.
We'll do a Jeff and Sue travel log.
Okay, and then
Marlon Perkins will be a guest. And he can
with
tell
fish and chips.
He tells us about the Wild Kingdom, as it were.
Yes.
Well, it's probably getting near time for the Lyft driver to appear.
Yeah, actually it's Uber this time. I saved $10 going with Uber.
I didn't book it, so they're all the same to me.
That's right. All right, well, travel well, Jeffrey.
I will, and you also. Stay close.
Okay, we'll see you.